3.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Idiomatic Top 3. I forgot. I sort of like halfway into it, I was like, what are we again? I don't know. Who are you?
I am Nicholas, the video game correspondent for Idiomatic.
And I am Dimitri, editor-in-chief of idiomatic.com and movie critic, or so I think.
I'm pretty sure you are.
Oh, well, there you go.
You're the dude I send my stuff to get edited, so you're probably
Since clearly I am ill-equipped to hosting today, I'm going to let you describe what today's top 3 topic is.
Alright, today we're discussing the top 3 what the fuck moments in basically medium, the mainstream medium.
Yeah, in the mainstream medium, I want to stress because we were discussing how to do this, and I was like, oh, well, there's this cult movie and that cult movie. I was like, oh my god, I can't, No, for this episode specifically, we are only including mainstream entertainment, so no cult movies. No, House Soup, really messed up. Yeah. Not going to talk about it.
No obscure game that only 3 people have played in Japan somewhere.
Exactly.
Messed up.
No exploitation B movie. Yeah, none of that.
So what do we mean by what the fuck moment?
What we mean by what the fuck moment is a moment that happens in a movie that is so out of tone with the rest of the movie and makes you go like, what the hell did I just see? And then the movie just goes back to its normal narrative. And it's like the movie could have done without it, essentially.
Yeah. It's like you remove that scene completely, and it's like the movie still makes sense. It actually makes more sense without it, and you really wish that scene would not have been there.
We have each 3 what the F moments from mainstream movies, entertainment, books, whatever. Yeah. We've actually gone all across the board, I believe, with this one.
Yeah, made an effort here to make it different.
Anyway, what is your number 3 pick for what the F moment?
Well, it's a movie I didn't quite like. It wasn't the worst movie, but it was pretty bad, especially because it followed 2 great movies, Spider-Man 3, where Peter gets the Venom costume, and all of a sudden he has like this dark shirt and dark pants, and he's dancing on the sidewalk pointing at women. I didn't quite get that scene, what they were trying to accomplish with just Peter walking, looking cool on the sidewalk. That scene led to absolutely nothing, and...
It was a reference to Saturday Night Fever.
Why would you make a Saturday Night Fever reference in a Spider-Man movie?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm just saying, it was a reference. You're saying, what were they trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
They were trying to reference Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, but what did that accomplish to, how did that... It made us feel like Peter was an idiot. Was that the point of the scene? I mean, it was completely out of left field. It wasn't that funny. It was funny. I'll give it that. It was funny for the first 2 women he pointed at, and they were like, ugh. But when it kept going on for like 2-3 minutes, and he kept pointing at women, they all kept, what's your problem, dude? It wasn't funny anymore, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's a callback to the scene in Spider-Man 2 where they were playing Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and he has the musical montage of him being so happy not to have powers anymore.
Okay.
And in this version, he is so happy to have the dark suit, and so they have the same montage. It's a callback. It doesn't work. I agree with your pick. Like, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work because I didn't see that at all. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that at all. Now that you mentioned it, makes sense from the second to the third, but I did not see that at all.
And I think there is a legitimate joke in it, in the idea that Bad Peter is still pretty wimpy. Like, even with the influence of the evil-making suit, which is, wow, what a concept.
Makes him play piano better, apparently, too, but that's another question.
Whatever. He's still really pretty much of a dork. You know what I mean? Like, even the suit never really quite pushes him to being that evil.
No, just mean. No,
just like he's kind of a jerk. Like, that's pretty much it.
Pretty much.
And so there is kind of a joke in that. The problem with the joke is that it sort of removes any sense of drama, because it's like, if the worst that happens to him is that he's just kind of a jerk, then he really should keep the suit. Because he can save a lot of lives, and the downside is he'll be just slightly unpleasant.
which he was still, at the beginning of the movie, even without the suit, he was still slightly unpleasant. So, failure at that point as well.
Yeah. And the second reason why it sort of fails is because it ends on a really, really uncomfortable note where he harms, like physically harms a woman
Yeah.
that he claims to love. And, you know, that has all those connotations of wife beating that comes with it. And you're like, you just ended a joke on beating your wife.
Yeah, I remember that part.
And it's sort of like, then the joke doesn't work and I have to take the concept of the dark suit seriously again. But you just took the most serious moment of his dark suit and you preceded it with a great big farce.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes of joke, and all of a sudden, well, at the end, wife beating, you were wrong for laughing for the previous 10 minutes. And it's like, well, gee, thanks, movie.
Yeah, no, it's off. I mean, like, let's face it, the whole movie is a little bit tonally off. It goes all over the place, but
Yeah, but I really could have lived without that part. You know, it's kind of pointless. Just go to where he harms Mary Jane without doing the whole goofy thing. I would have been fine with that.
yeah, no, I agree.
It makes it a little more dramatic.
I agree completely. I don't think it would have saved the movie, but it certainly would have made it less awful.
Yeah. All right. So, what is your number 3?
My number 3 pick, I'm going to go with something that most people will have expected me to put at number 1, but I'm going to go with a scene from Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls, the latest Indiana Jones movie.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm putting it at number 3 as opposed to number 1 is because Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skulls is a really stupid movie. So the tonal shift is not that bad. You know what I mean? Because all of it's some hot mess.
So it goes from stupid to slightly more stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, Now, I'm not going to name the nuke the fridge moment, although that's a prime candidate.
Yeah.
Or the monkeys and the Tarzan noise. I was like, what the heck? Or the aliens, because, look, there were aliens on the poster. I'm not that shocked.
It's the finale of the movie anyway. If you remove that part, it's like...
Yeah, that's it. You remove that part, you don't have a movie.
Yeah.
Which would have made the movie better.
Probably.
You know? But no, I'm gonna focus in on a weird detail, but it's these random shots of otters throughout the movie that appear once in a while, and they just do otter thing. Like they dig holes and they come out and they look around, and the camera just like spends 2 to 3 seconds at a time in between action scenes on those freaking otters, and I'm like, what are you trying to say, Steven Spielberg? Like, what is that? Like, because it's such a weird thing to introduce in the 4th part of an established series, because it's not in the vocabulary of any of the previous films.
Yeah.
Like, cuddly creatures are not a thing of Indiana Jones.
Not really.
And it never really pays off. They're just like, here's some otters.
Maybe he was trying to attract the Meerkat Manor crowd, and have them come and see the movie. There are going to be otters here. It's going to be awesome.
It's really weird. It's like, okay, it's the first full-on digital Indiana Jones, and maybe we're like, hey, we can make cuddly digital creatures too.
Oh, they're digital as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Is it? What is? What is that?
I don't know. That seems weird. A weird choice to me. And I guess it's a break from the action.
Yeah, well, like, look, it's a little punctuation thing, but like, again, Indiana Jones is supposed to evoke the the matinee serials from the 40s and 50s and whatnot. And I do think that the alien thing is a problem to begin with, because those serials were clearly separated in either sci-fi or mystical adventure.
Okay.
And you just had Indiana Jones jump from one to the other is a little bit off-putting in terms of the genre that you're supposed to be in. Mm-hmm. But whatever. One thing I know for sure, there weren't others in those movies. Like, I don't know what those things... I don't know where they come from. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they're supposed to mean. It bugs the crap out of me.
You're overthinking this, Dimitri. Maybe they're just, transition from one scene to the other, One scene, other, next scene.
Right, because swipes, like the Star Wars swipe, like, no, none of that anymore. It's the new millennium. We're going to have others from now on.
Of course.
Anyway, moving on to number 2. What is your number 2 pick for What the F moment?
Well, I'm going to have to go to video games.
Yes.
Something I know. A game I've played for 7 years, World of Warcraft. A great expansion that everybody was looking forward to, Wrath of the Lich King. The Lich King is a guy named Arthas that he was in Warcraft 3. He had his story there and he became a bad guy. Everybody wanted to kill him. So we knew at the end of the expansion we were going to have to kill Arthas. We were all looking for that. That was going to be the final raid of the instance. But, you can't just jump into that directly. So first raid, you have to kill one of his lieutenants. The second raid, there's this area that even he's afraid to go in, so you have to go investigate that area, and there's apparently a god dead there. That's pretty good. And then the third raid, there's an arena that's built, and you fight each other to death in the Colosseum to see if you're ready to fight the Lich King.
Okay.
That makes no sense. It was such an instance that was completely out of place. Why would you fight your own forces to see if you're ready and strong to go fight another guy? Why don't you just go fight the other guy directly with a bigger army instead of, waning your forces? Just story-wise, it made no sense.
Maybe they had limited provisions.
You could probably walk in 5 minutes next to the guy's fortress, okay? It was that close to where...
Okay, that part to me doesn't make sense.
Exactly. You were basically fighting at his doorstep to see, hey, look how cool we are. We're killing ourselves to see which one is going to go and kill you. You're just blocking us. We want to kill that guy. Why are you putting this in our way now? This is completely stupid. I don't know what they were thinking, honestly, making that. And a lot of people quit. They burnt out on that patch because there were only 5 bosses to kill repeatedly, and it got pretty boring, killing the 5 bosses over and over again, trying to get better gear to go kill Arthas the Lich King. So people just burned out and they quit playing before they could actually reach the goal of their, of the expansion to kill the Lich King. So that whole Colosseum thing just completely, what the hell? It's completely out of place.
Yeah. How would you fix that, though?
I would have fixed that by not having the Colosseum and just having, just go to Arthas directly and then...
No, but if you wanted to add a little stage beforehand.
A little stage beforehand is kind of tough because, you all have the expectation of, we all want to go kill that guy. That's the patch we're waiting for. They did, in Burning Crusade, the expansion before, we all wanted to go kill that one guy who was the leader of, the area where we were, Illidan. But then the developers realized, hey, we can get more mileage from, this expansion. So they added something afterwards where they added, a surprise boss. And we were like, oh, he's even cooler to kill than this guy.
Yeah.
So it's great. Now we get to go and, kick that other guy's ass. So you do the same thing here. You don't make people unnecessarily wait. It's like having an extra preview before the movie. It's like, no. Enough with the previews. I want to go see the movie.
How would you know if there was an extra preview? It's like I don't count the previews. It's not like I'd be like 3, 4, last one, buddy, last one.
I know, but after 20 minutes of preview, you're like, show me the movie already. So just go directly to Arthas, and then if you want something afterwards, make it so that you killing Arthas, messed up something, and you have to go and fix it, or move the story that way. The Colosseum was just everybody, even the developers after a while said, yeah, that was a stupid idea. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, at least, I actually, as an aside, I like it when artists and entertainers sort of gladly admit going yeah, look, we tried, but it failed.
Yeah.
That happens. I wish more entertainers would just flat out admit look, we thought we were doing something and it turned out we messed it up. That happens to everyone. I don't perform 100% on my job every day. For example, this podcast is turning out pretty crap.
Exactly.
I wish they do more of that.
Yeah, I know. That's a good thing to do. But yeah, it was really a pace breaker. It was. You're all wait, all right, we're ready for this guy. No, okay, you have to wait another 6 months. Damn it! Anyway, what is your number 2?
My number 2 pick is a novel.
Okay.
Now, some of you may be following the Hannibal television series. They've adapted the character from Silence of the Lambs into a television series.
Okay.
Pretty good stuff overall, and it made me think of the novel Hannibal.
That's what they based Silence of the Lambs on, I'm guessing?
Actually, no. Silence of the Lambs was its own novel,
okay.
Which was sort of a follow-up to Red Dragon. Red Dragon is the book that introduced Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
And then it followed up with The Silence of the Lambs, and then Silence of the Lambs, they made the movie. It exploded in popularity. So, of course, Harris, not a fool, wants to make money, decided he was going to ride on the coattails of that and produce another book called Hannibal.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now, Hannibal is awful because it's a total cash grab novel. It's really bad.
Cash grab novel seems so weird to me because novels take time to,
Yeah, they take time, but
time and effort. I guess movies and TV shows do take time.
yeah, exactly.
So,
It's not
you're
like
right.
cash grab is cash grab.
Yeah, good point.
And it's just full of random bursts of violence, and any of those kills could be used as an what the F moment because it's so over the top in its violence. Because at the end of Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal escaped, of course.
Yeah,
And he's going around killing people. Yeah, it's fun.
of course.
And it's so gruesome and so gratuitous, it completely takes you out of the book because you're sort of like, it's just gross, and you sort of, the story interrupts for pages after pages after pages of gross, you know what I mean?
That would seem to me pretty boring to read after the first one or two. Then you another murder, really, and then you flip a few pages. Okay, murder ends here. Let's start reading over.
Exactly. And the scene I want to focus on is the one where he decides to eat a man's brain while the guy is still alive.
That's impossible, but okay.
And it's just so over the top and weird. And why am I reading this? It doesn't even really fit Hannibal as a character. Like he's never been sadistic. He's a cruel man. Well, he's psychologically sadistic, I guess you could say. But, like physically sadistic that way, it's just so over the top and so unlike the gentleman madman that we met in the previous books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just such a weird, stupid scene. It's just before the end of the book.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm going to go ahead and spoil the book. So if you still want to read it, it's a little bit late. Come on, that book's old.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so in the book, which is completely different from the movie, Clarice catches up to him because she's trying to catch him.
Yeah.
She handcuffs herself to him so that because she knows that he's not going to hurt her because he likes her. And that's how Hannibal thinks.
Okay.
And that's the only way she's going to catch him because he's Superman and keeps disappearing. And, no, really, that's how it's written.
Okay.
And in the book, he starts talking to her and they start having a conversation and they start having an honest conversation. He admits that he's fallen in love with her and she admits that she's not indifferent to him. And then they end up together as a couple of serial killers and live happily ever after in that twisted lifestyle of theirs.
Okay.
My God, this is bad. Like, this is awful. That's the last thing you'd ever want to read Clarice do.
Yeah.
It's barely like Hannibal. Hannibal is a narcissist. He's a distant creature. He respects Clarice, but he doesn't want to bone her because he's so wrapped up in himself.
Yeah.
Like, it's so random, weird, stupid. It's preceded by my actual pick for what the fuck moment, which is when he eats the brains. Like, this is just like one awful on top of more awful. It's like, it's gross, it's stupid, it's yuck.
But in the book, with so many, what the fuck moments, if you remove them all, I mean, what are you left with, like 3 pages?
If you remove all the gross scenes, you'd still have the pursuit between Clarice and Hannibal trying to catch it. So you'd still have a book.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. And the ending, obviously the ending you have a problem because it's the ending. So if you remove the ending, you have a book without ending. But at the same time, I feel that you could easily have ended the book with Clarice handcuffing herself to Hannibal and just leave it out there where she's found the solution to catch Hannibal, to play on the only humane part of him, which is his affection for her. And
Okay.
you have a respectable conclusion right there.
Yeah.
Or you could do what the movie did, which is actually remarkably clever. Because what the movie does, again, spoiler alerts, people.
Yeah.
She handcuffs herself to him. He can't leave. He says, like, well, you know that I can't escape without somebody's arm getting cut off. And she's like, I know, but it's the only way I'm going to stop you. And it's the only way I found. And I know that you respect me because I'm a person that will go to these means. And she's like, you're right. I think you're adorable. So the police gets there They get to her, and there's blood all over around the kitchen, and Clarice is going like, it's not mine, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. He went out the back door, And they run after him, and you see on the kitchen table that Hannibal cut off his own arm to get away, because he didn't want to harm her, but was willing to harm himself.
Why didn't she follow him, though? Oh, no, you cut your arm off. Gross. Oh, you're running. That's fine. You go.
No, but I think there was a reason, but I don't know what it was. Because she might have handcuffed herself to something at the same time as handcuffing her.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't actually remember the details. But the idea being, like, the dynamics are intact.
Yeah.
You know, he's still a narcissist who still respects her tremendously and still is willing to take a part of himself rather than take a part of her. That makes their relationship still special, but it still makes him a completely messed up human being. And it doesn't ruin Clarice as a character.
Yep.
So...
yeah, it's bad when the ending is like, what the hell? But yeah, like you mentioned, those other parts, yeah, if you those seems like really, really pointless. I don't remember in any of the movies, pointless gratuitous violence like that.
Yeah.
It's completely pointless.
It's such an unpleasant book. It really is. Okay. I don't recommend it, people. I think if you want to read some of Harris's work about Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs, really good book, and Red Dragon is a terrific book. By terrific, I mean, like, look, it's not high literature, but it's mighty entertaining.
Okay.
And Hannibal Rising, honestly, it's a little bit X-Men-y for my taste. Okay. Talk about a book with what the fuck moments, like Hannibal Lecter at one point with the samurai swords. It's a little bit weird, but
wow.
Yeah, it's weird. But honestly, not nearly as bad as Hannibal. So there you go, folks. A little retrospective of the Hannibal books for you.
All right.
Right. On that completely, equally, what the fuck, digression.
Yeah.
What is your number one pick for what the F moment in entertainment?
Well, I'm going to use a novel as well. And you're going to get plenty of hate mail for that one as well, because it's a very, it's a part of that novel that's very divisive. Some people love it, some people hate it. There's nobody that's kind of like, about it. If you look at The Lord of the Rings by Tolkien, The Fellowship of the Ring, all those chapters that deal with Tom Bombadil, who's basically a guy that shows up and sings to the hobbits and takes them to dinner and then whatever else. Completely pointless. They just meet him and then he drops them off and then that's it. He has no other role in that book. He's just there to sing songs, basically.
Well, he's a transition from The Hobbit. I find like he's sort of a leftover from The Hobbit. Like, you feel a little bit like the beginning of The Lord of the Rings was a chapter or two that Tolkien had from The Hobbit and went like, there you go.
That's possible.
Those are the Tom Bombadil chapters.
That's possible because, yeah, those, the beginning is so much longer than the end, when in terms of writing. But my God, those chapters just pointless and painful to read. And I usually skip them when I read the novel and I reread them. I just, okay, Tom Bombadil, I just skip them completely. And thank God they did not put those chapters in the movie, because that would have been terrible.
But I wouldn't mind seeing Tom Bombadil in the Hobbit movies, though. Like, to be honest, because I always found he belongs in the Hobbit. He's sort of in tune with what the Hobbit was. I
guess, yes. I'm not sure that's the way they're making the movies right now. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I would see him so much more in the Hobbit than in Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings, he's just, hey, there's this guy. Okay, he's gone now. Let's move on.
Yeah, you never hear of him again, ever again.
At all. They kind of mention him at the council, we could give the ring to him because he doesn't give a damn. I was like, that's a bad idea. Okay, let's just move on.
It was such lip service.
Yeah, pretty much.
When I was young, I read it, and I hadn't read The Hobbit yet. I didn't mind it because it's, it's pretty early in the book. I thought that's what the book was going to be like, right?
Okay.
I was like, oh God, this book needs editing because, like, the fucking songs. Like, enough with the goddamn songs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then the book gets grimmer and grimmer and grimmer, and yeah, in retrospect, you're like, that's an odd beginning to that story,
Yeah.
But it's not like I read it and I was like, this is so unpleasant. Because as much as I thought the books needed editing at the beginning, I was halfway into it, and then when they reached the two towers, and I think it was chapter 10, that is just a description of said towers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, a few, Tolkien. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. No. So Tom Bombadil is sort of like, I don't hate him any more than I hate chapter 10 to 2 hours.
Okay, I see. But you said that you hated the tower chapter, so you hate I get what you're saying, but he's a very polarizing figure in that book, but I think he's completely useless. That said, what is your number one?
My number one pick for what the F moment is from the movie The Matrix Reloaded, sequel to The Matrix.
Okay.
And prequel to The Matrix Revolutions, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
No, that doesn't work that way. The movie comes out before the other one. It's not a prequel. It's just the natural order of things, I guess.
It's true. Alright, so The Matrix Reloaded, controversial movie in retrospect. Like, a lot of people are going like, it's terrible and whatnot. I still think it holds up very nicely.
Yeah.
It is let down by the fact that it's one cliffhanger leads you into Matrix Revolutions, which doesn't hold up quite as well.
No, it really doesn't.
And I bet a lot of people think I'm going to talk about The Architect, but I actually liked The Architect. I thought he was
talking a little fast, but I liked him.
I thought that was part of his charm, to be honest.
Okay.
And I like that this big action extravaganza, because like at this point we've seen the castle scene, the highway scene. You're all pumped up, and now Neo is flying across the screen. You're like, ah! And then it's just like climax. Let's talk. Let's sit down and talk. And I'm like, I can understand how some people would see it as what the fuck moment, but I was like all into that. I was like, yeah, I've seen enough action. I'm ready for some talking. Like, this is actually kind of fun.
Yeah. Even pointless action, like when he fights the Oracle's bodyguard, and you're like, you really need that part? Seriously?
Yeah. Somebody's stunt coordinator felt like being in the movie, but
Indeed.
But no, the scene for me that always takes me out of the movie is once they reach Zion, the real world Zion, and they get back from their mission. And they talk to the council, and the council is apparently led by a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
And then they go like, oh, let's relax. And they open the door, and it turns out that Zion is a rave party.
Yeah.
And everybody's having orgies at night. And that's what humanity's fighting for, the right for rave orgies.
Yeah. Basically, they listen to Morpheus do a speech, and then he basically says, let's start the orgy. And they all go at it.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, what the hell am I watching?
I know. I was like, I honestly at that point I'd rather be in the Matrix. You know, I'd really rather be in the Matrix at this point. It's kind of gross to me.
I mean, and I don't want to say that raves are gross. They have their appeal, but it's just when you put it in the context of this is the humanity we're fighting for, and you're like this sort of hedonistic chipum techno music, let's have sex without thinking. It's sort of like, really, that's what we're fighting for? Like, because that seems like a form of escapism as well. So how is this a counterbalance against the escapism of the Matrix?
Yeah, at least in the Matrix you eat good.
Yeah, eat good stuff.
Yeah.
It feels to me that if you're going to show Zion as a society worth protecting, that they should reflect a set of values that have nothing to do with escapism, just to be thematically consistent with the idea that escaping into the Matrix is wrong.
Yeah.
Raves are almost the opposite of that. You're literally dancing your woes away and taking drugs to sort of momentarily forget your responsibilities.
To be fair, they didn't show them taking drugs, but, you know.
But that's what a rave evokes.
Yes, it is true that those images really evoke, you know. Like, you know, seriously, having sex in the middle of everybody and not caring, you're like... It really is escapism. It's like you're in your own thing and you don't care about anything that's happening around you. It really is what that was.
And the thing is, the weird thing about it is you didn't need to show us why humanity needs protecting. Because your viewers are human. And therefore... would naturally assume that humanity is worth protecting.
Yeah.
Case in point, the first Matrix, we never actually see Zion, really.
No, we don't.
We still want to protect humanity from the evil robots. Why? Because we're humans. We don't like evil robots.
Yeah.
So you could easily have done Matrix Reloaded without that bloody scene.
I think robots, there was listed like four things that you don't need explanations to be evil and to, you know, so that humanity is good. And robot was like the top one. There's like alien, Nazis, and another one that I forget, you know, that you... Demons. Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't need any motivation. Humanity is right in this case, you know? It's just... Well, I guess Nazis are kind of part humanity, but whatever. They're they're
Yeah,
evil.
but they're evil.
Yeah,
You
basically.
don't need to explain why a Nazi is evil.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you didn't need to show that. I guess rave dancing humans are good and machines are. You don't need that. And even if you try to do it, then you fail. Honestly.
And then also the scene involves Neo and Trinity having sex, which I feel that sex scenes are a tricky thing in the sense that the minute you have them, it's a release. Like having sex is a release.
Yeah.
And so you cut the sexual tension between the two characters and you're like, you care about their couple just a little bit less as a result. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
And I understand that you might want to sort of show that they've become a full-on couple. Well, in that case, let them make love in a sort of sweet, romantic way instead of having some rave sex.
Well, they leave the rave, though, to have sex. So, they're not part of that crowd. They're just...
Yeah, that's true. Once getting turned on by watching a bunch of strangers having sex to techno music, and their fetish fully fulfilled,
oh my God,
then he can get it up and they can have sex together.
Spectacular. Yeah, that scene came out of nowhere, and it was like, what am I watching? Is this still The Matrix, or did I get in the wrong theater, or what the hell? Is it like the Matrix with 3 X's at the end or something? I don't
know. Nice. On that note, if you want to share with us your what the F moments in entertainment, and there are a lot, and mainstream entertainment, I want to say, because there are some really golden, messed up moments in fringe entertainment.
Yeah.
You can write us at mail@idiomatic.com or post a comment at idiomatic.com. We're also on Twitter. We're also on iTunes. We're also on Facebook. If you haven't yet, please like us on Facebook. It actually really helps us out in terms of getting support to continue delivering content. So we'd really appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye.